You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 56, The Life We Dreamed of.
So now what? These three words raced through my mind time and time again during my journey through fertility treatments. I tried desperately to have a child, but never was able. I yearned for a community to join that could understand my struggles. I couldn't find one, so I created one with the So Now What podcast. I love that you found us.
Hello, you beautiful soul. How are you? I am recording this on the weekend, so actually just Friday, and getting ready to celebrate my brother-in-law's 50th birthday bash on Saturday night. I have an awesome brother-in-law married to my sister who is my BFF and lives here in the city, not too far from me. She has two awesome kids, my niece and nephew. We are going to have a fabulous time celebrating a 50th birthday this weekend. That will just have happened right before this podcast airs, but I wanted to talk about a topic this week and offer you some opportunity to do some belief work in your own life. So you know that I teach about the BFA cycle, so the believe, feel, act cycle. And one of the most eye-opening and liberating parts of my journey of navigating my future, when I found out that I was not going to be a mom, the thing that I just always assumed my whole life I would be. So I've been doing a lot of work around beliefs and what beliefs we have, what beliefs we carry about ourselves and our lives that might not be helping us anymore. So I'd like to first clarify that I'm not somebody that feels like I need to question every part of my life and my being and pull myself apart and nitpick. But if something doesn't get me feeling the way that I want to feel or have the outcomes that I'm working to achieve with myself and with my goals and with my future, then that's when I sort of get curious about my beliefs around certain things. I'm going to present this to you today, and I'd love for you to consider where this might be coming up for you. So I think back to when I was dreaming about my future. Maybe I was in middle school, maybe I was in high school, sitting on my best friend's bed, and we're sitting there probably with a Trapper Keeper and going through magazines with Duran Duran and who knows what other star, probably Michael Jackson. And for me, it was Ricky Martin in Menudo. I used to love that. And you would dream about how you saw your future. You'd marry a guy who had brown hair, who was athletic, move to the suburbs, and have the house with the white picket fence, probably 2 or 3 kids max, hopefully a boy, hopefully a girl. And we create this vision for our future, and then we continue on with our future, high school, college, maybe grad school, whatever it is, career, boyfriends, relationships, friendships, all these things that have changed throughout our life. And we get to this point in our life and we've never given ourselves the opportunity to consider whether that life for ourselves that we dreamed of so long ago is still relevant in what we want in our life today. When I started considering that this was an opportunity to go through and ask myself some pointed questions about how I've compared who I am today to where I thought I would be or what I thought I would have, and all these things that I created with a mind that was so unknowing and so uneducated to the future that would lie ahead of me. And so I've lived these magnificent years and challenging years and formative years, never asking myself with what knowledge I have today or with what talent or skill or heartache or change in trajectory have I experienced that I want to start considering, what is it that I truly want in my life? Is it that version of me that I dreamed of when I was 14 or 16 or 18, depending on, and never really went back and evaluated who I was then, and knowing what I know now, is that the future that I really truly want? This work has been so liberating for me to decide that I could believe differently about what I want, knowing what I know now.
and knowing that I ended up being somebody who didn't have children, do I want to live in the belief that my life will never feel fulfilling because I don't have those children, or decide that I can create a baseline now with that knowledge and decide with somebody who knows so much more information about where your life ended up? I decided to believe that I could create new dreams for myself, or new goals for myself, or new opinions of who I become or who I've been all these years, with the knowledge that I have now about who I am. For me, it was very liberating to decide that I don't always have to compare myself with a past version that I created with this past version of myself. If you could just let yourself say, you know what, I am childless, or I am child-free, or I'm not going to have children. However it is you want to define your circumstance, that's up to you as well. I mean, that's another liberating thing to think about. You don't have to use somebody else's definition of where you are in your journey right now, or how you want to consider yourself as a woman. You have the ability to decide your definition for yourself. And to me, that's another thing that feels like these shackles come off of you, that you don't have to be qualifying yourself as somebody through a definition that somebody else has created for you. But knowing that, you have the opportunity to start to dream again. And that's where I have found that, considering the beliefs that maybe you've just gathered because that was the way people always thought of women that didn't have children, or you always knew somebody in your past, or maybe some old lady at church who never had kids, and you always felt sorry for her because she didn't have anywhere to go on the holidays. So because of that, you've assumed that that is going to be you, and you believe that that's how women that don't have children end up in their older years. The ability that you have to say, that doesn't have to be my belief of where I'm going to end up, and start to decide. Maybe you're going to form great friendships with new people. Maybe you're going to have a circle of women that don't have children, and you ladies and your futures together happen to create this new tradition, or this new support system, or this new nucleus with this chosen family of yours. And letting yourself and giving yourself that liberty to just start to consider, what is it that you're believing about your story now? What are the things that don't feel good to you? Start to decide, what are my beliefs about that thing? Are those beliefs that I need to believe anymore? Because the great thing is, there is nobody who can tell you what you do and don't believe. That is totally up to you and totally open for you to decide. Now, maybe you have beliefs that align differently than somebody, and deciding, is that a problem? Do you want to veer from a belief system that you grew up having? No one has to tell you you do or you don't, but just knowing that it's an opportunity is so liberating. We just think that there's one way of believing our whole life, and maybe we have this life that is so different than we ever dreamed it would be. And we can believe that it might be okay. It might feel good. We don't have to believe 100% right now that we love our life because we're not a mom. But if we're just open to the possibility that we can believe something new about our future and who we are and the journey that we committed to that didn't turn out the way that we thought it would, maybe we can make peace with that and believe that we might just learn to love our life, and we might just feel in control of our future and be excited about who we can become and consider new possibilities. This is some beautiful work. I'd love for you to do some paper thinking. If you're noticing yourself feeling disappointed when you think about where you are today, or where you're at in a certain place in your life that you feel stuck, or you consistently are trying to come to terms with, just start to ask yourself, what is it that I'm believing? What is the story that I believe, and why does it make me feel a way that I don't want to feel anymore?
And let me know what you think. This is the type of stuff that we work on in Thrive After Infertility, which it's starting this week. The thing about Thrive, and again, like thinking about beliefs and being able to change them, this is my first round of doing it. And I just had this belief of what it was going to turn out to be. And it has changed into something so different than I had envisioned. It's changed just in this organic way. I feel like it's turned into something that's going to be so perfect, even though it's so different than the vision I had for my first mastermind. And I can't wait for it to start. I can't wait for the growth that's going to come out of it. I can't wait for the ability the women that I'm working with have to create change for themselves and to truly create a roadmap to thrive again. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful week. Remember, it's never too late to discover your meaning, and I can't wait to talk to you next week.